Welcome back to the 150K podcast. I'm your host, Joe Graham, where we help take your dreams to six figures and beyond. Today's a special day. I have my friend Yakup. Yes, we are actually going international. He's from Germany. If you're watching this video right now, it's really nice time for him. It's like 5 a.m. for me. Now, I chose to do this, so don't feel bad for me. I like getting up early. But Yakup, my friend, we've been talking and interacting. I was on your show for, I would think, almost a year now. We met through our good buddy, I believe it was Brian Bogart, last summer when he was doing a, I don't know if it was a seminar course or something. Anyways, that's how we met. But for people that don't know you, like, I know you're an AI king. I know that you do a bunch of content. I know that you are heart-centered and want to help people. But give us a little bit of your background and what you do.
Yeah, sure. First of all, appreciate and really grateful for being on your show. Thanks for the invitation and just for knowing you, because you helped me with a lot of things and super grateful for that. And yeah, for sure. So who's Yakup basically? So I started as a journalist. So I have a background as a digital editor. I worked for different publications like newspaper, for TV stations, for online magazines, for print magazines. And then all of a sudden my career shifted into the direction of content marketing. So I became a content manager who was in charge of different digital assets like creating blog articles or social media postings, content plans for different corporations or business owners. And 3 years ago, I started my own business, basically. I started to create these kind of content assets for my own clients. And since 2 years, I say I'm a content AI manager because I'm using AI tools, AI technology to create content. And I mean, these kind of tools, since Chat GPT, there's a lot of media buzz in the last couple of weeks and months, but I'm using these tools since around 2 years now. And basically, it started with a pitch. So somebody pitched me, a software company, and it was a bad pitch. The conditions, yeah, it was a bad. The conditions were bad.
We've done that. We've heard them. Yep.
It was way too expensive, and then there were some restrictions which didn't really make sense to me, and I was frustrated. And I know many entrepreneurs who are listening to this. This bad feeling, this being annoyed, is always a good starting point for creating or doing your own service. And that was the turning point for me, where I said, okay, you know what? It was also a little bit naive. I said to myself, I will do this better. And this was the turning point for me, where I realized, okay, I'm researching about this, and I've bought my first writing assistant, which is not Chat GPT, which is another tool, but it was. I'm still using this writing assistant, and really fast I realized, okay, these tools can help me a lot with my not only text production but also video snippet generation, tutorials, podcasts, image generation, with all these different aspects. And this was the start of the journey, basically, with this writing assistant. And that's also the reason why I'm publishing my new book, which is coming in May, where I speak about these 5 territories. That's how I call them, the 5 content AI territories, because for most people, these are like unknown lands, islands, small islands where you go and where you have no clue what you're doing, how to do it. And many people feel like with AI technology, they don't know how to start, what tools to use, where to go. And that's the reason why I call them the territories, the 5 territories.
No, I love that. And here's the funny thing. So he kind of went over it pretty fast. But one, you have been in AI and that type of stuff for over 3 years. So you're not the Chat GPT people that are out there that are experts after it came out a week later. No, this is someone that's actually been in the AI industry for a while. You were doing content and you did something that entrepreneurs do. You got frustrated with something, like, I can make it better. That's pure entrepreneurship right there. I don't like how this is going. I'm going to make it better, which I love. And then you just went in deep. So you build content for AI, or with using AI tools and helping other entrepreneurs. Do you help other entrepreneurs or businesses, or who is your target market?
Yeah. So one funny thing is, I interviewed a lot of CEOs, so SaaS companies, which produce these kind of tools, and they came back to me and said, hey, I need a blog article. And I thought, well, you have a software that can produce your blog articles, but you need a blog article from me. Okay, that
Hmm.
was interesting. So that was a target audience that I didn't have on the radar. So it was more like I wanted to learn from them, but they became also friends and also clients because they need it. So SaaS companies, I like to work with them because they're very focused on product development,
Hmm.
but they lack the skill of creating content and community because they are so focused on product development. So that's one area where I work with. I like also coaches, also consulting businesses. So I have clients who are in the AI consulting business or in consulting in general. Speakers are also great because they already create video material that we can leverage into content plans. So these are the main,
Hmm.
I would say, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
The
it's
other thing I
especially
forgot.
professionals.
Yeah,
Sorry.
the other thing I forgot to mention is that Yakup does a live show every week. So I've been on his live show. He's had other people on his live shows. Like how many shows have you produced? I forgot about. Like
Well,
here we are. I'm talking to you, and you do this probably more than I do. Like I'm at 100 and I think 124 released, and I think I've recorded 130. And you're like what in the 200s at this point?
I think so. I started also with the podcast first,
Mhm.
so only audio, and then I moved around 2 or 3 years. I can't remember when exactly, but I switched from podcasting to live broadcasting because of several reasons. But to the number, that's a very good question. So I do interviews and also solo shows. I think
Mhm.
it's more than 300 or something,
Oh wow, yeah.
400. So when you count also the podcast episodes that I did 1.5 years the podcast. So I think around maybe around 500, something like that, all in all. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. So let's go a little tactical here because I like we know each other and we talk a lot, so I could bounce around, but I'm trying to like kind of stay focused, but I'm not that way. I like to bounce around. Um, for businesses and entrepreneurs just starting out, because Chat GPT and all that's like the big thing and all. And you mentioned you've done blog articles, you've done other stuff. Do you look at AI as like just a tool to enhance, or is it going to be something that you think will replace people as things go along?
Mhm. So the replacement debate, I don't believe in this. So I'm always telling the story how one CEO contacted me. This is still a client of me, and this is the CEO of a consulting business, big consulting business in Germany. And he said, Jakob, we need somebody like you who knows all these AI tools within the content space. In Germany, we couldn't find anybody. And I thought, and that was the turning point when I realized, okay, I'm going full all in these AI tools because it will not replace me. They still need my service. They need it more than ever because it's not like that you are on autopilot, that you just hit the button and then you create perfectly created campaigns. You still have to edit it. You have still to work on it, and you have to rephrase some things and delete some things. You have to fact check. So there's work involved
Hmm.
that the AI can't do. So I got, for example, in one of my workshops, one question was how to create emotional stories with AI. And I said, well, that's not mainly the job of an AI to create an emotional story. If you want to do really good storytelling, I would use you should use your imagination and do it yourself. So there are things that AI can help with, but there are still things that humans can better. And I always see it that's also something that you see on my book cover. So there are two puzzles, and from the right side the AI is
Hmm.
pushing the puzzle, and from the left side the human is pushing the puzzle to combine it in the middle. So I see it as the best way to create the best impact in the 21st century, to combine human intelligence with artificial intelligence.
Yeah, no, that makes sense because there's always you're gonna like we've talked sales and stuff before. You always need that human touch, that connection, that thing that's going to draw people in. Because if something's perfect, we as humans don't like perfect. We like
Yes.
it to be a little messy. We like it to. How does it make us feel? Like it could be like this. People can give you the best bullet points. We'll do this. We'll do this. We'll do this. We'll do this. And people are like no. But if you can make them feel, so I understand that concept. So for someone starting out or for business owners, what do you recommend? Like you said, it can do blog posts, it can do, I'm assuming, articles. Do you think it works good for like editing your works? Like say you write something up, just making it a little bit better. Is that kind of what you recommend for it? And then a second question after that, how is it going to affect video?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay, two different questions. So one is the text production. So this is the lowest hanging fruit, in my opinion, to use a writing assistant. It can be Chat GPT. I'm not the biggest fan of Chat GPT because of several reasons, but I'm more a fan of tools where you can also structure content. And in this chat function, you have to scroll all the time, and something where you can also edit things. So especially blog articles are very powerful to create with writing assistants, social media captions, good headlines. So creating a catchy headline, this can be also true for your offline campaigns. So you're creating something, a giveaway or some offline campaign, and you need some inspiration. This can be also a good starting point. So using it, because everybody needs some kind of text where you can mention your products or your services, and that's the lowest hanging fruit, in my opinion. Or especially, I mean, there are some boring stuff like meta titles within your website, which is not the sexiest thing to do, honestly. So for me, I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of it because it's in the back end and nobody sees it, the work that you're putting in. But it's still important because it's important to be searchable. So from a SEO standpoint, it's important. And meta titles, meta descriptions, things like that, that's easily done with an writing assistant. So that's to your first question when it comes to text production.
Yeah.
The second question to video content. So I'm dividing into two different categories. So one is video snippet and one is deep fake. Deep fake generated. So
deep fake generated. Well, what is that? What does deep fake generated mean?
Okay, let's start with that one. So deep fake is a combination of deep learning and fake. So that's a combination. So deep learning is an AI model, so to say. So you can generate videos from nothing, basically. So you can choose, like a PowerPoint presentation, you can choose, so how should my avatar look like? Who's in front of the camera? So which gender? So man or woman? What is the hair color? So black, white, or I don't know. What is the age? Older person, younger person. What clothes should she or he wear? I can choose that one. And I can choose, like a PowerPoint presentation, I can choose where should the head be that is speaking to the camera. And I can choose the accent. So American English, British English, Australian English, Switzer German. But there's also one area, Indish English. So people from India have their own accent, or I mean, Germans, I have an accent. I mean, when I speak English, because I'm born and raised in Germany, and you can pick these things. You can pick also the tonality, how fast should he or she speak, things like that, and then you can create video material in the background and run that. And especially interesting for tutorial kind of videos, so where you have to explain things. So especially for software companies, for example, how to create my profile, how to use the software. So these kind of things are easily done with deepfake generated.
So how does it feel? So like we're having a conversation here, and we can go back and forth and change our inflection. So now my mind's working here. How does that affect? Like I can see it in a tutorial statement where like you're trying to teach someone and you can raise it up and down and all, but it doesn't have the ability to adapt to the people listening. We haven't gotten to that point yet. It's like it can't like sense how, like right there you just nodded your head because I said something. You're like, okay, it registered. AI is not to that point yet where it can sense or understand the emotions or the connection coming from it. So it's just a best guess. Am I reading that right? Or am I understanding that right? Okay.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, definitely. So that would be too far ahead, I think. Yes.
Yeah, that'd be more Terminator stuff. No, I'm teasing. That's a joke.
Yeah, but that's good that we speak about it, because that's always the elephant in the room. So are we going to be replaced? Will there be a Terminator and things like that? That's always in the head of the people.
Yeah.
And it's important to speak about it.
Yeah. Well, I don't think there's going to be a Terminator, but I think certain roles could possibly be replaced or enhanced, but you still would have to have the human element depending on what you're doing. especially. But think of it this way, because I was just thinking about this. Even if everything got that way, if you are just genuine and still there, you're going to draw the people that want that human connection that aren't going to be as happy with, okay, cool, this AI does everything perfect for me. So that my mind just like, and maybe I do I watched Terminator when I was a little kid, so it's probably like that's in my head. But I'm not thinking like Rise of Machines. I'm just thinking about, well, it's like this. You are an early adapter, if you think about it. So like when any new technology comes out, you've been in this game for 3 years. Now the middle ground people are catching up. Then the people at the end are thinking the Terminator's coming and he's going to destroy us all. But you were an early adapter. You're already ahead of the curve. You're looking at stuff that hasn't even probably come out yet, or that's the cutting edge of it, where a lot of people are like, oh, I can put this into, like you said, Chat GPT, and it's going to edit it for me. This is great. Wow.
Yeah.
And you're like, bro, that was like 4 years ago. We're past this. So with connection and how this stuff works, how do we help business owners navigate? How do you, because I'm not an AI expert, you are, how do you help business owners navigate what aspects of it will help their business? Or should I put it this way, the most bang for their buck? So is it like, do you start with just blog articles like you mentioned, or you are, because you're a content creator as well, do you do it with the videos? Would you even recommend what we were just talking about with the fake, what you call it, fake? Yeah, that one, for some of their courses and stuff. And could you even put their voice over top of it?
Yeah, very good question. So, but there was some story in my head now because you mentioned this twice about the imperfect content. Before I answer your question, I want to. I listened to this. I'm also in the group. You know him, Steve Sims.
Yeah, I love Steve.
There's this amazing story that he told where he's doing his newsletter and you can see that he wrote it because there are some mistakes, so grammar things or spelling, and very typically Steve Sims stuff.
Yep.
So he outsourced his newsletter quite a time ago to an agency which created the perfect newsletter with the perfect captions, with the perfect pictures. And all of a sudden, the interaction, the engagement, was become very low. So people didn't open it up. They didn't read it, and they didn't interact with it. And he had to do it again himself because people realized that's not him. So what does the story teach us? Being a human and doing errors is fine. And you should do this also. It's always the question, where can I use AI to make things easier and faster? So it's when it comes to content, I'm also a big believer on creating authentic content. So it should be always to some degree your voice. So that's therefore I have a couple of rules. For example, the AI generated blog article, for example, is the first draft, which means I don't just copy paste the stuff. I'm taking this and then editing on it. So I'm deleting things, I'm fact checking things, I'm including my personal stories, but I'm starting with this first draft, which means around 500 or 600 words for each blog article. So I don't start with 0, but I'm starting with this, with a solid foundation, but I have to rework it. That's one of the rules that I have.
To make sure, and I'm liking what you're saying here. So pretty much you have a thought or an idea, and you put it into maybe an AI enhancer, which will enhance and give you a little bit more expanding on the idea. And then you go in and you put Yakup into it. You put in your stories of life, and you put in the enhancements and the way you talk and speak. Because I agree, because like if I started using AI stuff a lot, people would know, because I have a little bit of dyslexia. My grammar's not perfect. I know this. I'm better on video than I am, even though I love writing long form. I have a friend, she loves me, but she corrects me every time. She says, you need to correct this grammar, because she was a teacher. But it's just funny. But like, if I switch that, I can see people be like, what happened? Who is this? This is not you doing it. You have to have that authentic. No, this is definitely not Joe, because Joe can't spell that word, and I don't know how he got that word right. But no, I like that, because it's just with people practical tools. If you take it and use it to enhance what you're doing, And now I kind of want to shift into content because you've been doing content for people for a while. So you're not just an AI guy, like you actually produce content for businesses. Like you mentioned, real brick and mortar businesses, real online businesses. You've helped a lot of different people. You know, Steve Sims, I think you've worked with Brian Bogart. You've worked with a lot of really cool people. So here's the thing. How do you help someone with their content? So we're shifting away from the AI. I know you use the tools to enhance it, but if there's a business person or a sales professional saying, hey, help me with your content, how would you help? And you can even use me, you know me well enough if you want to go that way. How do you help people build their brand, get their message out, share their voice?
Yeah. So what we typically start in our workshops, I mean, I do these workshops online and offline, is some kind of, first of all, visualization. So I'm a big fan of goal setting and making sure that you have a vision. So what is the big, what would bring you tears of joy when you create this kind of content? So what would happen in the best case scenarios? It's some kind of these kind of questions that we answer first and write them down in a written form, not digitally, because I believe that you have to write these things down.
Yep.
And that's the first step. And then after that, I'm always analyzing. So the content audit. What kind of content pieces are you already creating? So let's pick your example. So you're creating already videos. You're creating Instagram postings, things like that. And in your case, I love your videos where you're just walking around and speaking into the camera. It's not like I would say, Joe, we need deep fake or something. That wouldn't work.
Yeah.
Honestly, that doesn't make sense. And in your case, I would say work on the text production. So maybe change the headlines, making long form copy for the Instagram postings. Maybe using an image generator for using some of the pictures of you and putting it into another context and things like that. I would test these kind of things. It's not like that I always have one particular thing that I want to give to people. It depends always on the business goals and also what kind of content you already produce. If you have a podcast, for example, it could be interesting to use Descript for creating your solo shows with AI, but that could be an option. So, but yeah, we have to figure it out. There are many tools, but it's always what's the workflow within your organization? What are the content pieces that you're already producing? And then based on that, I ask myself, okay, what would make the most sense and how to minimize and make things easier.
Yeah, no, I love that. I do. Yeah, and I think again, I like what you do there because I do this with my business. I customize it for the person because no one size fits all. You know, you go online, you hear these courses, and they try to get you to do this one course, and it's going to change your life. And you go and you go, this is basic cookie cutter 101 for XYZ product, instead of people coming in and actually helping and enhancing. So I do like that a lot. And I think the funny thing that a lot of people get mixed up is, sometimes you have tools in your tool belts, and sometimes you actually, what your real content is different. So like in my head, because I'm just thinking this through, I'm more into mindset and helping people level up. Sales is my tool belt, but most people know me as a sales coach, not a mindset coach. But if you look at what I do a lot more with mindset than I do with sales, because sales is a practical application. And I think looking at what people do and finding their heart helps. So I like that a lot. So we are not done, but I always put this in the middle. And I know you mentioned this. I want to talk about your book in just a second. Where can people find you at online and connect with you?
So the best way is on LinkedIn. So type in my complicated name, Yakup, and I'm sure there will be
There'll be in the show notes. Yes, and links as well. Yep.
Yakup on LinkedIn. So I'm basically every day. LinkedIn is my platform. So basically B2B. And all the entrepreneurs around the world using it, and it's my favorite platform, and that's the easiest way to get in touch with me. Send me a message, and I will very fast respond.
Yes, he does. We talk all the time. Now, here's the thing. How do you say your last name? Because I tried to say it before the show started, and I butchered it. So I'm like, I'm just going to call you the AI King because I don't want to say it wrong. But Yakup, tell people how to say your last name too, because it's cool. I don't want to say it wrong.
Yeah, so basically Ozkardes, which is a Turkish base. So my parents are from Turkey, and Cheung is from my wife, and it's from Hong Kong, Hongkongese name.
Nice. Nice. No, I like that a lot. So let's talk about your book, because you have your book. And when does your book come out?
On May the 1st.
May the 1st. And the name of your book?
Content AI.
Oh, look, we're having a theme here. It's AI.
Yeah.
Did you plan this? Did you know Chat GPT was just going to be this hot? Because you've been in this market for 3 years, so you just knew when to drop the book?
Honestly, no, it was before ChatGPT was in the market, but I added also some parts which mentioned ChatGPT.
Mhm.
And I also explained why I'm not the biggest fan in more detail. And I think it's the tip of the iceberg with when it
Mhm.
comes to AI tools that are available. And I know that many friends are using it, many colleagues are using it, but still there's this need, like in the old days when we spoke about, yeah, digitalization is important, we have to digitize everything within our business, but they don't know how to do it. And
Right.
we have some kind of similar transformation where everybody knows, okay, we need AI tools, but how to integrate them
Yep.
into the workflows in the existing systems, how to train the people, which tools to use. These are
Mhm.
all the questions that are coming out. And yeah, I'm very focused on content AI tools, but the thing is moving more, but it's a long-term, midterm vision, more into how to help sales teams to use these kind of tools, because they are more. For example, I bought last month, I think, one follow-up system, a
Mhm.
tool where you can generate videos very easily with
Yep.
AI technology and follow up with people. I mean, this is video content,
Mhm.
but it's an instrument for sales teams like you, professionals who
Mhm.
do follow ups, and it's a very smart way. And that's where I'm more and more moving, because I see that these tools are very powerful. But if I can train sales teams with these tools,
Mhm.
that could be amazing. That's something that where the whole thing is shifting. But my book is mainly AI tools and how marketing teams can use these tools, and also workflows and frameworks to use them. Yeah.
No, I like that. I do. I like that a lot, because I was thinking about even content has changed. So, like,
Yes.
what was it, 8 to 10 years ago? If you could write blogs, you were the man. And then all of a sudden, it was just long form, and then it was short form, and then it was going live, and then it was doing webinars, and now it's reels. And it's always changing and adapting, and you have to have
Yeah.
the ability to adapt with it. So, these tools help with that. So I like that a lot. Let's shift a little bit more, because you've been in business for yourself for 3 years. So you're successful, because guess what? Most businesses don't make it a year and a half. I think 86% of all businesses fail within the first year and a half. So you've done some stuff to weather the storms, build your business, build your brand. What is your daily routine like? Do you have like a daily routine, or are you more Hermosi style and just fly by the seat of your pants? What works for Yakup?
So I mean, I'm from Germany, so I have to say this: I plan and structure my days. So, so typically very cliche, but so we have at the end of the year with my wife, we do our goal setting.
Hmm.
So we have one paper where we write down our goals, our yearly goals. I have a whiteboard next to me where I
Hmm.
have my monthly goals and also my weekly stuff that I'm doing. And also I have a checklist on my table where I write down in advance. Oftentimes it's in the evening where I write down what I'm going to do tomorrow,
Hmm.
just to be prepared. So that's one routine, I would say. Other than that, I mean, I'm also a father, so my wife is oftentimes bringing the kids to the kindergarten.
Hmm.
Today it was an exception. I brought them, and I'm picking them up later on. I would say that's also a routine, some kind of, okay, work stops now, and now
Yep.
focus on your sons and on your family life. Something like that would be a routine. I'm also Taekwondo coach, so that's also on a weekly basis. I'm giving one lecture where I train people on Taekwondo, which is a Korean martial arts.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I think
No, that's good.
these are
Yeah,
the
because
main things.
I'm doing the kickboxing thing, and I see you.
Yes, I
You sent me
know.
the videos of that. That's
Yes.
Here's a question. And I think you agree with me on this, especially for men. what I have found that when I can get into movement and something like that, it helps me be more focused. Do you recommend that for a lot of your clients if they get into the aspect of it? Like, I think women too, don't take this wrong, but men need to be in movement to be creative because we do things together. That's how we connect. Where women could sit down, like, I know you and I are hybrids and we can sit down and talk and connect well. Most men don't do what we're doing here. Most men will go, like, they'll go work on a car, they'll go do other things. So
Yeah.
how has, like, do you think like Taekwondo or martial arts or lifting weights or exercise, is that like a key component for success?
So it was for me, definitely. So basically, so one story quick. Before we moved into to this city where we live now in the north of Germany, Hamburg, I had this job interview with my former boss and a second person. And this guy, I can't remember how, but we also spoke about Taekwondo, and one of them also did Taekwondo.
Mhm.
And I mean, we spoke, we had 45 minutes or something, and we spoke 20 minutes about Taekwondo,
Yep,
how
yep.
it changed my life, about the disciplines, and how it affected also my personal life and
Mhm.
also my business life. And I also, my first articles in the newspaper were Taekwondo articles of my former, not gym, they call it something like sports house, where
Mhm.
I get my first lectures. So that was my first experience with newspaper and publishing and things like that. So it was always
Yep.
connected in some way. And still, one of my first coaching clients was the owner, not the owner, the chief editor of the print magazine of the Taekwondo magazine in the German area in Germany. And she was the chief editor, and she
Mhm.
was one of my first coaching clients where I spoke about creating content and how to create content in a digital space. This was also helpful. I mean,
Yep.
there are all these connections, and therefore I believe that, yeah, it's definitely was for me. And I think it's also good to know people who have about what your job is. Just honestly, because that's something that I realized when I worked back then as a journalist. Journalists, they are all around. They know they have journalist friends.
Mhm.
They are meeting other journalists, but they are like in their own bubble.
Yep.
And
Yep.
it's good to have people who do other stuff where you have no idea about it. Sometimes there are also tensions,
Mhm.
but yeah, I mean, yeah, but I think in the long term it's good to have these
Yeah.
kind of networking.
Mhm.
And yeah, there are also other fathers where I can speak and get some brainstorming. So it helped me a lot, and I think in general everybody else would benefit from it.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. And it's kind of funny you mentioned that now because I'm just thinking, I'm seeing the pattern here. You did something you loved. You talked to someone, you connected with that guy, and you talked 20 minutes on something that you two had a connection with, which built the relationship, which made it to where now you were able to do work for them. But the connection was the Taekwondo at first, not what you had to offer. Because sometimes you need to be able to connect with someone with something that they love. Because you obviously love Taekwondo, he loved Taekwondo, and this can be with anything. It could be with writing, it could be with movies, it could be with
Yeah.
whatever they're at. It comes back to what we've talked about a bunch before, which is just human connection. And then taking the AI and enhancing the connection so that you can help more people. Because that video thing you mentioned saves time. Well, if you can save time and all when you're doing your follow-up, instead of having to do a video for each person, you can put the video in, send it out, and do it. Yeah, no, dude, I think that's great. So before I let you go, what other things have we not talked about? Like, I know we bounced around a little bit. We've talked about content, we talked about AI, we talked about Taekwondo, we talked about relationships. Are there any other key pieces in either content, AI, mindset, whatever you want, that you want to leave the listeners with before we let you go to do all the other crazy cool stuff you do each and every day?
So one slide that I always show are the two values that are important for me. So it's not about replacement when it comes to AI, it's about the human factor. So people are becoming more important than ever in these days. So that's very important that I get this message through, that this is really a value for me, because if you have this fear that you will be replaced, then the most fancy and advanced technology will not help you because you will not use it. So therefore, that's a mindset thing, and always human first and AI training second. So after we focus on the human connection, then in the second step, and which is really a priority, we look at AI training, giving people the right tools and train them, and so that they can be the best human possible.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for being on my show, my friend. Again, tell them, Yakup, where they can find you. I know you're the LinkedIn AI master, but that's the best place to catch you is LinkedIn. What's the name of your show? Because we didn't mention that either. We mentioned your
Yeah,
show, but we
so
didn't tell them the name of it.
yeah, the content AI show basically. So where I speak with experts around the world within the AI space. It can be also content AI, but mostly, so the biggest component is the AI space. So I had some lawyers within the AI space. I had AI risk manager, which is not a sexy topic, but an interesting and important topic, which is will pop up in the coming months. And different software CEOs. So that's the show, content AI show. But we also have a gift. I have something that I want to give to your community, and that's my content AI starter set basically, which is a video series training where I show the things that we spoke about basically, how to get started, how to create your blog article, the lowest hanging fruit, how to use text production for your own content strategy. That's a free gift that I want to share with your community.
Thank you.
That's just because I know you already a couple of time, and trust you, and yeah, want to serve you and your community in a bigger way. And yeah, the best way to reach out to me is on LinkedIn, basically. Yeah.
Perfect. And we'll drop all this in the show notes as well, just that way it can make it simple and easy. Again, thank you for being on. And for everyone listening, remember, AI is a tool. Use it to enhance what you do to help more and more people. And until next time, go connect, go do, go grow, and be amazingly you.